Hello, this is Caroline Ajuna Kibuka Atenyi. I'm inviting you. Hello, you're most welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Hairaka ya Bunyoro in the diaspora. This is Caroline Ajuna Atenyi. Kibuka, sorry, and Ivara Ndihindwire, but that is me. Mwebale muno kuija to tune in on Hairaka ya Bunyoro in the diaspora, and this is this Hairaka ya Bunyoro in the diaspora is supported by BKDA and Rise Up Community Inclusion. The show, just a reminder, as always, the show will be in two languages, that is Bunyoro and English. Bunyoro is the language spoken by the people from Bunyoro, and Bunyoro is found in the western part of Uganda. Nako ninyenda at the same time kabulikiro kuijuka bobona abatwairwe omuwiki ehoiroho. We send to hano Hairaka ya Bunyoro, we send our sincere condolences to all those who have lost their beloved ones, and may the souls of the departed rest in peace. With that, whatever I would like to say, that I just want to remind our viewers today of our topic, ya kirokinu, eri naming Okuruka Amabara mu Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom. We hope this topic will be of help to some of us to learn more about our culture and remind us of our indigenous names. And I just want to let you know that today we are hosting an amazing guest on our Voice of Bunyoro in the diaspora, Hairaka ya Bunyoro on diaspora. He's an IT consultant, historian, and culture advocate for Bunyoro Kitara, and he lives in the US. And without wasting a lot of time, kwenda kumusaba aije abeho bugambo buke obwakwebazaho abagambire nambera ruga Oruganda nabyona nko baraba yendeze. Already have told you who he is, professionally wise. Kyonka ninyenda kumusaba ayongere kwebazaho omungeso zaitu ezekinyoro. Akiiki, thank you so much kwikiriza to accept to come here Hairaka ya Bunyoro once again to tell us more about the culture of Bunyoro Kitara. You do so much amazing work for this amazing kingdom, and we are all appreciative of your hard work. You keep teaching us. You do so many things. You always put me when I get the words wrong. Kionga kanihire kirokinu ebintu bijagenda kurungi. Webale muno once again kwikiriza kuba hamna itwe hanu wayirekereza byone byokora waija to spend an hour with us here Hairaka ya Bunyoro. Webale muno Akiiki kandi no bugambo obo buke ninkusaba obeyo ebigambo byokubaza hali ba viewers baitu, so that they get to know you, they get to connect with you, those who have not met you before. Oche muna Akiiki.
Ego mwebali nena abanyoro kati abanywani Amabara Kugonza Rwakasaija empako Akiiki. Nindugasagadi, that is in former Chivare, in the great empire of Kitara, village Mabare, Orugana Mbamzazi, Kwezira Nanka Echu, Nente Mira, Orugana Rwaito Rwabazazi Rukaruga Orugana Rwabachwezi. So in the Muzazi Mchwezi Kati, in the Mchwezi kan in the Muzazi. Kirokino tugenda kubaza Okuruka Amabara mu Bunyoro Kitara kan hili nywe na muja kugonza enosho yaitu mwebale. Thanks for tuning in.
Kugonza Rwakasaija nko bwabagambire abagambire Uganda rweti nja kurugarukamu nabyone bikumukwataho nambera kuruga. It's amazing to have you once again Akiiki. webale muno kuba n'omutima gwa Bunyoro. And by the way, I forgot to tell you about the song. Akiiki, is it okay for us to play Omutima gwa Bunyoro? Tutakatandikire show yaitu so that people get to connect why we are doing this show. Mutyo muno abakutuwuliriza mbaze muwulirize akazina kano Omutima gwa Bunyoro Akiiki nawe nanywa yoga otuiza amazire kubaza kutugambira who he is. We are coming back after the Omutima gwa Bunyoro by Easy P. Thank you.
Muranga kutero muranga kwa Bunyoro na Banyoro abali mu Bunyoro omanyire ihanga Ruganda bakwataniza bange tubekimu kobe muganda mucholi mururu murugwara kimu oli mu Bunyoro wala la 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 bantu bange nyowenti niremu ayayayayaya Abanyoro nyagaitunti niremu wala la 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 kime kiroto kalero niremu wala la 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 bantu bange mumba matwinywe wala la 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 ali hatifi amaiso harukinde ate visipuro watengoma izebyo musomesa lekansomese ate visipuro kongo nebidongo izebi somesa bantu bange tubeno kwa Bunyoro wala la 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 mutima kwa Bunyoro mutima kwa Bunyoro mutima kwa Bunyoro mutima kwa Bunyoro wala la 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 mutima kwa Bunyoro kukurumirwa Bunyoro mutima kwa Bunyoro omukama kabale kandumbirege muyitumbirya lero ndinirege akugamba halali tasemereirwe Abanyoro bya Bunyoro tubinagirize wala la 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 bambi tugonze hangalya Bunyoro garuke tukolere munuka Bunyoro musike ni mugaruro waitu munuka tugaika haze hangalya Bunyoro leka bana baitu batali baseka bakabaka guza banyu bakabantaha ayayayayaya wala la 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 ituka iwe nyenga hanukugenda baitu kandi Bunyoro likirikabo nomwana wawe alikisanga wijugurugo alikisanga balereka tube nakulo mutima ogwaka balega isenkuru itwe omukama kabalega gambire omukiroto nyewenti nirege agambire tube no kwa Bunyoro wala la 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 mutima kwa Bunyoro mutima kwa Bunyoro mutima kwa Bunyoro mutima kwa Bunyoro wala la 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 mutima kwa Bunyoro kukurumirwa Bunyoro mutima kwa Bunyoro abaliseri amayata bana bomuka mu Bunyoro muranga kutera muranga amalilanda ni Amerika mukole ni mugaruka ho mwaka ube no mutima
Hello, that is Omutunima gwa Bunyoro by Izepi omusomesa wa Banyoro. Webale muno Izepi kututerera kazinaako kandi nitwenda otereyo obuzina bundi obukutwegesa ha mutima gwa Bunyoro. Our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in once again. Hierarchy ya Bunyoro in the Diaspora, the voice of Bunyoro in the Diaspora, which is broadcasted on Voice Media UK and sponsored by Bunyoro Kitara Development Association and Rise Up Community Inclusion. Nkabuli ninyenda hati garura omugonze wa bwaitu Akiiki, guest waitu wa Kirokinu, tutandike kubaza ha naming Okuruka Amabara mu Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom. Otyo munakiki akazina kakunyumire.
Eko kansemize.
Kakusemize. Ogo bamweta Izepi omusomesa.
Eko mumanyire.
Kwendo tell your background about naming Okuruka Amabara mu Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom. Abantu basore kumanya bintu binu bigenda bita, what happened, where we are, so that people know about this naming function.
Yeah, so Okuruka Amabara Bunyoro Kitara, mostly Amabara tugaruka depending on our surroundings. Our surroundings are the circumstances under which a child is born determine what we give a child a name. We don't just pick a name and out of the blue and give. We attach in Bunyoro Kitara, we attach meaning to every name we give a child. So that is basically is Sananka. Briefly by two. For example, for example, we have twin Amabara Agotavana who are born prematurely, like Omwana Gobazaire made after 9 months. You know, usually a child abamunda yanyina the miezi mwenda. So if a child is born after 9 months, bamuha omojo tumwaibara ya katuramu. Katuramu means he has overspent in the womb. He has spent more than 9 months. Kandi omwisiki tumwaibara dianak kakuriremu. So that is omwana wa muzaire, you know, after 9 months. And before 9 months, yeah, that is premature. And a male tumwaibara dia mwangu here, and female aba kaizire. So bosango muntu ni bamweta katuramu Burundi kaizire. So those could be the reasons. But I know birovino abantu eri culture tibagimanyire. So you find in the umwana bamuhera ibara bias because the grandfather had that name without knowing the reason why. Ananka, you know, the grandfather had that name. And even before the Babito came, we basically before we the Bunyoro Kitara, before we had the Mpako, so we basically used to give Ibaradi Mulyonka. We never used to be like surnames like these days, because Birovinu or Tunga Ibara, then you also take your father's name as well. So before the Babito came and introduced the Mpako, Gomuntu akawana Tunga Ibaradi Mulyonka. And that was good enough. When the Babito came in around the 14th century, by Tempako, Hatim Bunyoro Kitara, but and Kakoha Empako, but Bakwa Ibara Liawe, then Bakwa Empako. And then when the British started coming and colonizing, that's when we started acquiring what we call family names, which are surnames. Hati Birobin tuwana Amabara asatu, so you find yourself in Ibara like Nyowe. Kugonza Rwakasaija is basically Kasaija is my father's name, so Rwa means to basically distinguish myself from my name and my father's name. So we add the RWA, which becomes Kugonza Rwakasaija. Then Empako becomes the third. So basically, Empako is as well considered a name.
Akiiki, hati tutakagenzire kutanga kutugambira amabara gano. I'm sure you've already talked about abaana abazaalibwe more than abasigairo munda yaba mama babu at 9 months. That's people who have gone, children who are born after 9 months, yeah? Watugamba babeta katuramu, and then omwisiki ni woha?
Iremu.
Kairemu. Hati, kakuliremu. Hati, obutubantu Okuruka Amabara gano, is there any function or is it niyo abokuba? I remember last time Okaija watugambira about the naming of Empako. Hati, do they do a separate naming function, or is it all done together on the same day?
Ibiona tulukora at the same day. So I think last time Mkabaza nti Empako baziha 3 days over Omwisiki, then 4 days over Mojo. So equally the names are given during those functions. During that function is Umwana Omuyibara, Omhane Empako. Yeah, that is basically, you know, the two names. That is his name and his Empako. If you have surnames, that is a new culture. You have British, and actually there is a history behind why they give surnames is because they would recruit people to the military and they would want to trace them. So it was more of an industrialization kind of phase whereby they wanted to identify people easily because, and also because people in back those days used to marry from the same village. But when modernization came in and people started traveling far distances, then you would find people with similar names. So they wanted to differentiate between, you know, who was here and who was there. And because of the Industrial Revolution, the surname came in. But if you go back to even the British royal family, even up to now, you would find that Elizabeth doesn't have a second name. Even in the Bible, it's only Moses, Isaac. They don't have surnames. They only have their single names. So surnames is a new thing, and it's so people should understand that.
Hati, what about, is there any partner? I know you've already talked about the 9 months or less. Is that one of the patterns or ways that people follow when they are naming people in Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom?
So birovinu abantu abamuti babimanyire, and that's why shonkenu niyo ero okwegesa abantu okumanya nti omuntu wano omwana wawo noba n'Omuruka Ibara. You should understand how to name your child and not just pick a name out of the blue just because you had it from somewhere or omwana wawo. You know, so hey, this is how the names are given. If a child is born before 9 months, you know, Ibarage abamwanguhya kandi ugaba mojo umusiki aba kaizire. And ekindi, if you have twins, you know, you don't just pick names. Twins baba na mabara gabo. If abaisiki tubaha amabara ga Nyangoma, ogunwa abanza wakabiri abanyakato, abojo akubanza aba Isingoma, wakabiri aba Kato. So those are the basically the twins. After the twins, if you continue having more children, then wakasatu after the twin abakiza. So wororo muntu ainibara lya kiza, so nomanya ogu follows abarongo. So after kiza tuba twina kahwa. So kahwa ibara libali abojo na abaisiki. The same applies to kiza. So kiza nayo ibara lya bojo n'abaisiki. So after Kahwa, then tuba na Irumba abamojo and Unsugwa abamwisiki. And after that, if you continue having more children, then the cycle has to continue. Then you have Varongo, abamojo, and Nyamahonge abamwisiki. So that's how basically the pattern goes.
Hati hanyuma ya Nyamahungo Barongo. Oba ozala yabana banda because in African tradition tuzala bana baingi. Aroha Amabara agaraba after Barongo na omojo obaroho obani hao bakangira.
I think kumanya maybe after that it doesn't matter anymore. All that's what they consider. But to think, so that needs more research. Kaguza the Ganam Kingdom, Kaguza Minister of Culture, but according to my research, I don't know Bahika, but maybe there could be more. I don't know.
Another question about our twins, this is out of naming. Arohe mikoro ekolebwa eyabarongo. Hati owozaira barongo emikoro egiyende ehondera he yabarongo manya bakibaza bato mu Runyoro to celebrate, the twins have special functions. Is it the naming? Do they name the twins on that day, or they also do another function to name the twins?
Historically, basically, the twins. I have not found anywhere where they say it was a separate function from the actual naming, all it was the same. But according to what I've read and documented, Abarongo, the function of the Abarongo naming is quite separate, but it follows the same because you are doing the same naming either way. It's just that there are more things. When you are giving the names, apart from when you are just giving the names which are not twins. But if you're naming Abarongo, it is the same custom by to okuya ontaro ebintu ebindi culture ebyo inakwongeramu.
Iwenka historian akutusearchingira notuhereze ebintu binu. What do you think of people who forego this birobino habwe dini oba habwa Christianity? They forego the naming ceremonies, they forego the naming ceremonies for twins. Iwenka iwe historian wa Bunyoro Kitara, what are you telling us? Should we not do them abokuba bagamba bibamusitani? Is it true bibamusitani tubyeganyire tubireke tukole ebikuno ebyabukristaya bokanyomba mu kristayo nzaire gabarongo ati I don't know what I would do.
Not necessarily, because so anything that I would consider satanic would be something that has sacrificing. But these traditions don't involve sacrificing any human life. The customs that are bad are the ones whereby you sacrifice a human being. But its zone of functions, they are important because once your culture is erased and your identity is erased, you lose who you are. And once you lose who you are, it affects you. Even it trickles down to your economic survival and also your cultural survival. Because right now, in the Tulhano way, you can see it's always good to learn from other cultures, to integrate. By to keeping your culture, we keep the good things, because I know in the Bunyoro the other customs which were not really good, another time, by to the things that are good, we should enable to keep them, because when you lose your identity, you become nothing in the world. It's always good to have your identity.
Let us go back to our names. Obalize 9 and less months. hatika tubaze hali ba kings mabara kiago agabaha abakama ba Bunyoro Kitara kingdom.
Abakama, they are born like any normal child, and Omanyire in the customs of Kitara, Omwana Kubanza firstborn, normally Taba King, it's normally the second or third or fourth, and Omukama, he has the right to choose who will be the heir to the throne. It's not automatic that the firstborn or the second is going to be the heir. So the names they are given are basically dependent on their clan. But to Abakama, when they come to the throne, they are given titles. And these titles depend on how they came to the throne. So, and the most prominent one that I normally try to educate people, Kawaninjegesa, Abanywanyi bange Okuruka Amabara Kingdom, we're arguing about the name Chwa. Nabahabuza nti ibara Chwa ni mumanya ni Mansak, and they didn't know. So I had to educate them and tell them Chwa, it comes from Okuchwa. So Okuchwa is basically means to cut. So in the Bunyoro Kitara, any king that was brutal would be given that name. Guy is brutal. So, Bosango Muntu yairukire ibara Chwa, or hato nozaro mwano mwa ibara Chwa. I mean, unless you don't know the meaning of that, I don't think you name your child Chwa, unless your child is brutal or is not even brutal, because this name Chwa is given. It's a title. It's not a name. It's not a name in itself. It's a title because you acquire it when you're an adult, and it was given to kings who got to the throne in a brutal way. And also there is Nanka Chebambe, So Chebambe is a title given to the king who takes power by force. So Okusango, a normal person, or Omanawa Mohediba Chebambe is absurd because he doesn't know, he or she tamanyire the intrinsic meaning of Ibadiet. So Arambara Gandhi Oyo Nikimanyisa Embeva, but I need to find out more about that one. I don't have much research about it. All I know the meaning, but I don't know why it is attached to a king in that way. Winnie also Nikimanyisa, somebody who listens. Maybe a king would be the one who would listen a lot. And the ones that have concrete meaning is like a name Ibaradia Yomkama Duhaga. So Duhaga basically Ibara there was given to the king who was like who didn't have physical strength, or who was weak, or who was short. So Omukama Ogo Bamuhaga Ibaradia Duhaga, into they anticipate Ajakuhaga or Ajakuhaguka Ariabukama, that will grow tall and strong once he becomes a king. So Tosako Tungo Mwanawawe Omuyiro Duhaga, because you don't know the meaning, So there are about 10 names, 10 titles or names is Abakama, and that is Chwa. It is the Abakama, and their titles, not necessarily names. There is Winnie, there is Shebambe, there is Oyo, there is Olimi, that is Olimi Nikmaisa Omubungi Vista, there is Nyabong, there is Nyarwa, there is Nyaika, Duhaga, and Okaki. So Aga Amabara, they are basically titles of kings. Abantu baleke kutunga abana babo babaigarwa Amabara, unless it is something you just choose to, because sometimes Okuruka Omwani Ibara out of inspiration of your king. So that could be but even when you give the name, you should know what it means and why, because Omwana Jakora, akabuze working on Italini Ibara. And you're like, okay, the king was called Israel. Why was the king called Chua? And then
Hati aroho abantu, they would argue or tell me after the show, nti aga amabara akika gagambire gagolimi, oyo, nyabongo, nyaika, mabara gababito. Actually, I have those same names. My grandparents have named, or my grandfather, great-grandfather named his sons, my grandfathers who have all gone to be with the Lord, bless them. Baina nkaba nyina isenkrunyoba kweta nyaika, nyina isenkrunyoba kweta nyabwongo, nyina isenkrunyoba kweta olimi, nyina isenkrunyowe owinyi. But they will tell you those are Babito names. So how do you have to explain that to us or to our viewers? Babito names.
They are titles. We are not necessarily, you see, like, it's like calling somebody sir. Like, your name is sir. I mean, so like I've explained to you the meaning of the name Chua. So Chua means somebody who is brutal. So you can give it was basically a title that was given to a king who was brutal in nature, and he came to, so he acquired that name during the process of either coming to power or when he's in power. He eventually gets it, but it's not like something that he's born with and given that name from the birth. So that is the history of some of these names. They are not just causing history Yagano Amabara. So they get a child and they give the name just because in history the name appears to be one of the kings, or it appears to be one of the great grandfathers, but the great grandfather is also inspired from the kings, So imagine that it's not like you can't give the names. I mean, the world has changed, You can give any name you want, but make sure you understand the meaning of the name. Because even me, I could name my child Chua, even if I'm not a Movito, as long as I understand the name, what it means. It means brutality. So I can say I'm giving my name because I got inspiration from my king, who was good and who was ruthless. And if I enjoy ruthless in any way.
Thank you so much, Akiiki, to educate us about those different categories, the names of people born less than 9 months, those born after 9 months, the kings and the twins. Hatini tugenda ha commercial break because we have already done 30 minutes, and we will return with other categories that will tell our viewers. Nitugenda na tubalekera kazina akakurugo wa rapper D. I think that's the name. I'm sorry, then we will return after the break. Mutyo muno abanyoro na abanyoro kati na friends of Bunyoro. Thank you for tuning in, and let's go for a commercial break.
On the beat. Ronnie the dog. Titubana stress day tuba byaito. Tufuna hakaire nitulya hazaito. Nitobaro habaite kuruba kintu. Tubaterera marapa kanyumira mato. Dance floor tugirumbe mu karoto. Isimana mina bakuchitinga pato. Itwena tuguko na monto hamonto. DJ kanoka kyole memirunde sato. Tukehaya kutonda rulimi waito. Bunyoro hema doha ganiho waito. Ejana byonna bina waka bine bintu. Buli kyoka kweta niketebukaga waito. Shakira waito. Shifa waito. Shanita waito. Chantel waito. Shiba waito. Shasha waito. Dance floor mugirumbe muba mulike habintu. Bitu waito. Becky waito. Babra waito. Brenda waito. Babarita waito. Beyonce waito. Dance floor mugirumbe muba mulike habintu. Mpaka kejenge bisaho mbozi yoturo. Tupa hamino mimiro kemira ifuro. Tukitera mpaka site tukasara ensaro. Kaba despacito tukutundo runyoro. Tulinda likaseti twesembere santaro. Riboni hamutweka kapteni wesero. Nkora record antibwe ndifandi bakiro. Kwa mukama kabalega banzitaka sa nimparo. Usaho kusinya anti mwaka guno muliro. Utengenene bukondo nbo broke soro. Kamazenda mukaba sexa baro hakaro. Burakule ibara lya inasembera gamwitiro. Jackie White Husla White Sharon White Carol Dorcas, Esther, dance floor mukirumbe mubamulike Havento, Aisha, Alison, Akla, Aida, Anita, Eva, dance floor mukirumbe mubamulike Havento. Murapu game runyo flonka kwata bendera bakaija kutusendekereza twe kulembera obongo titusimya bwikara ni bwesera bachalenja banukire bakurara kenjara ngaite nyuguta ndi mutafuta topurapa mu kabuga ka mafuta ndeka nibaseka rap wenzi meketa barapa bona bakambatize ya tata whisper tata golden tata xy tata king west tata sinex tata clockwise tata akasina mtakasiza bakuketa ga white slay jaja Diva, Shanita, Chantel, Shiba, Shasha, dance floor mukirumbe mubamulike Havento, Bito, Becky, Barbara, Brenda, Barbarita, Beyonce, dance floor mukirumbe mubamulike Havento.
Welcome back Kuruga yo mwebale yo commercial break. This is Iraka lya Bunyoro, the voice of Bunyoro in the diaspora. Ogo abaire ekizina kibaire Y2 from by rapper Diko. Webale muno rapper Diko kututerera kazina ka Y2 a Caroline Y2 nywena mukawulire bali yange libaire muti nkwehangira na wekyo that is naming in Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom, the great kingdom found in the western part of Uganda. And the topic is naming Okuruka Amabara Omuyoro of this amazing kingdom. Hati Akiiki, ntaka genzere hara, webale yo ha commercial break. I'm just going to ask you to give me some few seconds to acknowledge all those that have tuned in today. Not all of them, a few, and probably I'll read out a few questions if they are there. If they are not, then I'll get back to you and you'll tell us more about naming Okuruka Amabara Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom. Maureen Kunihira, thank you so much for tuning in. Surveyor Cubs, Vincent Amote, akyotinketegereize baitu. Maureen Kunihira, webale muno to follow us, and thank you so much for introducing me to Izepi. If it wasn't because of you, I wouldn't have known Omutima gwa Bunyoro. Kezia Kiza, thank you so much for tuning in, and you're always with us. We are really, really happy for your support here at the Voice of Bunyoro in the diaspora. Jeff Plumber, live from Masindi. Naba Masindi lero muizire. Webale muno Jeff to tune in. I am very privileged to have you online. Anet Kabanyoro, omwana wa Kitoba, webale mirimo nkurora, no kora live on Facebook. I always tune in and sneak out. Kionka, I am your great supporter. Webale muno kubaza Bunyoro no encouraginga abantu bende Bunyoro. Ogo ni Anet Kabanyoro, mumufollowinga bamurora. Oh wow, Diana Kemrembe, my very first supporter. Webale muno aboli kutuninga in all the way from US. Thank you so much. What time did you start? We started at 6:30, sweetheart. Aboli tutanigegeza 12 kichwekeza London. Mwesigwa Patrick, thank you so much. You promised to tune in and you have really made it. Webale muno kutuninga ini mwesigwa Amon tumwehise naye webale muno tuninga in Charlie. I don't know where you are coming from, but yeah, thank you so much. Baitu Akiiki abantu kabata kwaguza bikaguzo. Baitu tuija kurora wundi balemesa Richard. Hati amaheso gwesebo gata. Hati amahasa gasebo gata. Amahasa tingama. I think that is what they call the ceremony that is done for the twins. I think, if I'm not wrong, you will correct me. Amorina Linda, chairway to Bunyoro Kitara Development Association, Awoli. Thank you for the support. Akiiki chair waitu hano habike dia kusima. Agamba thank you Akiiki Kugonza Rwakasaija Akiiki for the information. That is the same with Mr. Karuhanga, dear one of our advisory board members. Ono msajja wa amani muno Lord owaitu tukumweta hano Lord omu UK. Evangelist Amoti webale muno to support us. Agambire Evangelist Amoti Kabalega. Agambile, please, could you compile that information in a booklet? I think you will answer him at one point. Nabandi bakubaza hanu Alisa Tenya tugonza Mama Nzara na watu ningire ina kusima. Thank you Akiiki for the wonderful work you're doing. Nabandi muno Diana Kemiremba yesere chua Diana. Anti maeleki ora mukorogo kionka ati wafokere chwa Diana. Anyway, I hand over back to you Akiiki. Orole ebikaguzo tibaire yongira abantu basemererwa kubaha information ebataka huraho so they don't even want to ask questions. Tibakwenda wasting a time apart from Evangelist Kabalega Sabire. I think you can answer him if you're able to do the booklet.
Ingitwekire Nanka put it on Facebook. They should be able to see it. The booklets, we shall work on it, but right now they can go to the Bunyoro USA website. Get information you in Roho. What I'm talking about. So the link is on the Facebook. You can go there, put it on the Voice of Bunyoro Facebook page on the chat section. Yeah.
Okay, yo. We are still talking about Tumaziraba Kings. Category kiende yo kutuha. I know the categories are many. I actually read this morning, reading about all these categories. There are so many. So tell us more about the categories of how to name people in Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom.
Yeah, so category which I think Bantu, which they are ignoring or they haven't given thought about is if you want to identify yourself with your father's name, because back those days, you'd give basically one name and also Empako. But if you wanted to identify yourself with your parents, for some reason, we don't identify our names with our mothers. But I think maybe culturally we can discuss about that. But to like my name right now, I'm Kugonza Rwakasaija. So Rwa basically nikimaanisha son of. So I'm Kugonza, son of Kasaija. So that means those ones abatakazaide or Okuruka Amabara bana babo. So put that into consideration that if you want your son to carry your name or your daughter to carry your name, the Rwa RWA has to be added to differentiate between your name and his name or her name and your name. So that's the category that I wanted to discuss. So historically we had names because Nanka Bunyoro Kitara has a lot of divination. So that was basically divination is basically to divine is basically to go to spirit gods and seek for either to pray and seek for either wealth or fertility or good harvest. So we had such gods, and we used to give names depending on those gods, depending on who was your favorite. So basically, we had if you had a male, you'd call that person Vievandwa, and the female, you can call that person Kembandwa or Chakabandwa. We had, if you hear a person called Kazana, or that is male, or Kanyabuzana, female. So those are names from divination spirits. There is Mugasa, that is male, and there is Kamugasa, that is female. So those are names that when parents maybe prayed to the different spirits for them to have birth, that means they had failed options and they had prayed to the traditional spirits and they had given, and they think the traditional spirits had helped them give birth. So they would give names because of that. But most importantly, I think the names that are commonly used these days that are very important are Amabara, which are inspired by nature, Okuruka, like things around us, you know, like mountains, hills, you know, yeah, animals. So when Bunyoro Kitara, a kid chona kusemeza, or that is part of nature, you would basically get that and make it part of or give to you to your child, like Ivaranka Kanyunyuzi. So Kanyunyuzi comes from Runyunyuzi. Runyunyuzi is a star. So a star is something that is beautiful. So who wouldn't want to name their child Kanyunyuzi? So that's Kanyunyuzi means.
Just to chip in, by the way, nyowera nyoba nyeta Kanyunyuzi. Nenkuru named me Ibara Kanyunyuzi, and there is someone here who is my follower, my supporter. He calls me Kanyunyuzi. Na weke ungenda kuliongera ho listi yangi. Njakuba ni nyeta Kanyunyuzi kibuka atenyi. Ngenda gamba aba voice of Bunyoro baliongere haho. Aha, about Kanyunyuzi. Let's go on about Kanyunyuzi name.
So that's, yeah, Kanyunyuzi is basically a star, and you know, any beautiful natural thing, the Bunyoro or Banyaktara would give a name as expression from that, you know. And also we have names like Intale, Komuntale, you know. Intale is a lion, you know, and Komuntale is child of a lion. So you can give your name because you love lions, you know. So you name your child Intale, you know, or Mwisiki Komuntale, you know. We have names like Kakwanzi, and Kwanzi are beads. Beads play a significant part in beatification. Okusemeza omukazi rundi omukazi agenda kuswera. So, and they are used in decorations of many things. So beads are part of the Bunyoro Kitara culture, and we give names depending on that as well. So if you find someone called Kakwanzi or Nkwanzi, you know, like I know one of our princesses is actually called Masamba Nkwanzi. So for those who don't know, she's called Princess Masamba Nkwanzi. Tuina Mabara Nkamusana, which comes from the sun. Kwezi, you know, which is the moon. So you can name your child Kwezi or Nyakwezi, you know. We have Kagoro or Kabingo. It comes from that's a name for which comes from reeds. So reeds played a significant part in construction in the Bunyoro Kitara. So that's why, you know, it's anything that was common or used around would carry a name with it and give it to our children. So the reeds played a big part in construction of houses. You know? So Ngoro is what we use, all in bingo. So you find children are named Kagoro or Kabingo, which comes from Orgoro, which is the reed, you know. And we have other names like Kajura or Unjura, you know, that is rain. If your child was born during the rainy season, or it was raining that night or the day when the child was given birth, you can name Umwana Wenjura, child of rain. And what I found also interesting was I went to visit I visited a friend of mine, and one of their daughters was called Runengo, and I was inquisitive to find about what the name means. So after doing some research, I went ahead and I discovered Runengo comes from what they call Enengo. Enengo is basically it's a narrow valley between hills, and in most cases have a stream of water going through it. So it's a beautiful piece of nature that was admired, and basically, the child was given that name from that beautiful creation, which is now the name, and now that child from Enengo was named Runengo, and another one was named Kabengo. So all those names, so each name in the Bunyoro Kitara has its meaning, So let's not, even a rainbow, which is called Umuhanga Izima. So Kahangi comes from that. So any name, so to Okuruka Amabara, knowing what they mean and if they carry any significance important. If it's beauty, if it's beauty, then you give beauty. If it's nature and you like nature, you give your child nature. Yeah, even a name that I found also interesting was Chencha. So Chencha comes from Ebichencha. Ebichencha is basically porcelain. Porcelain is used in making tiles and concrete and all that stuff. So yeah, so that names, some of the names that are inspired from nature. So nature is wide. I can't list
There's
all the
an
names.
interesting question, two interesting questions, and I think I'll first ask the one from Frank Smith. He's saying, I am a friend of Bunyoro. I want to know if the Bunyoro culture has a way of integrating their friends into their culture. If yes, do they give them names to identify those friends? Then question endi hanyuma halegyo aroha kagwize. This is from Atenya Alisi. Have you researched about names given to wives that have been married or have gone to be married in another family, how they are called?
Researching and I think it's the one I'll be talking about next after this. I was gonna attack on that. So next, we have I think more 5 minutes. I can talk about that. But the kind is about the first question, Yananka integrating into Bunyoro Kitara culture. So the first integration is basically empako. So empako, so if I have a friend or if someone gets married to a person from Bunyoro Kitara, I have a bunch to buy empako, and that identifies them as being either our friends or being part of the family. So empako is one way of doing what, but also in terms of basically marriage. So basically, Aloha Mabara, Gandhi, which you can acquire after getting married. That is for if you get married, obviously you get the customs and culture, and you basically get the name as well. But if not through marriage, all that means you'd have to either adopt a clan, come and if you really want to become a Bunyoro, that means you have to associate yourself with a clan, get initiated into a clan, and then the clan will do the normal process and they will give you names, according to a clan, or they will initiate you, but you can't just have a name when you don't have a clan where it's wrong. But we have clans, and there are about 100 plus clans. So if you want to integrate and be part of the Bunyoro, then you can come and we tell you the history of the clans. You choose the clan. If the clan members accept you, because actually we had one of our chiefs in 1924, Bunyoro Kitara lost population because of the wars we had with the British and the Buganda Kingdom. And one of our chiefs sent his counterparts in Kenya, and we had immigrants called Maragoli, and they migrated into Bunyoro Kitara. And actually, they are now part of Bunyoro, and they are Bunyoro, but they originated from Kenya. So that shows you that Bunyoro can accommodate any person as long as you're willing to speak our language and our customs and culture. So we are not limited to that. So an empire accommodates everybody. We don't just say that, like actually I've been educating a lot of people between, I know about those who don't know history, they say the accents for Bunyoro are the accent for Batoro, for Batuku, for the people in Karagwe, they are different. So the accent, Bunyoro Kitara was so big that the accents are different depending on which region where you are in. But it's the same language, basically. It's just the different regions, the different people where Bunyoro occupied and they taught the language, it was acquired differently depending on the regional language they had and the accents. So that means the accents is varied, but the language is still the same. So, and they are all considered Banyaktara or Bunyoro. So let me talk about now.
Before you go, there is a question from one of my great followers, Daisy Martha. She's saying, are they clan-based names in Bunyoro just like it is in Buganda Kingdom?
Yes, Twina Amabara Ganakaga clans, and basically those clan names are given depending on the clan. And for example, my clan is Abazazi, and one of my sisters is actually called Kazaz. And Kazaz means a child of Abazaz. And you'll find names like Kabahinda. Kabahinda means child of the Bahinda. So those are the specific clan names that tie to a clan. So if you're from the Bayaga clan, you'll be called Kabayaga. Yeah. If you're from the Bachwez clan, you'll be called the Abachwez. The Babito clan will be called Kababito. So depending on which clan you have, then you just say, Ka. So Ka is basically an acronym that you add to anything to identify with it. So those are the basic, yeah.
Hati tusigaizeyo dakika ntaito. It's actually 7:30 sharp. But we will go beyond because my bosses here have allowed me 5 minutes more. After that, we'll have to go off air. I just want you to give closing remarks. Please give our viewers, our listeners, your last word on today's show. And probably recommend them because I know there are so many categories that we haven't been able to cover today about how we named people in Bunyoro Kitara. But please go ahead and give your last comments or last words for this show today.
Let me give to the viewers, I think, about the praise names is to her the ones we give to our wives and husbands. So basically, these are praise names you can actually use. So Nazi, is a name you can give to a loved one. It's not a name that maybe if your wife comes in and they don't have a name that identifies with love, you can call them Nganzi, Nganzi Yange, Kengana. Those are some of the names that given to maybe a woman that has a little bit flesh on her. You can call her Kengana. Rangi is given to those who are light skinned. So these are names that women acquire when they get married. It's not like they were born with them, but you can give them just because you admire them a lot and you love them a lot. So you give them some of these names. So these names can be found on our website for Bunyoro Kitara USA. Okuruka, you go to a naming section Okuruka Amabara. Kandi nimba basically Abanyoro Kati, the Empire of Kitara, Inuena. There are some books that you basically have to read, a must read for you. Kalo kana Katabo, but it's called Anatomy of an African Kingdom, by Nyakatura. a lot of information Bunyoro, mukatunge mukasome mujja kwega bingi. Tuna dictionary yo Runyoro Rutoro, so dictionary dictionary yo nungi muno, so mugitunge mugisome. You learn a lot about our language and culture. There is 1,000 years of Bunyoro Kitara, Katabo Karungi Kano, and there is also, I think I found this one to have a lot of history in it. So Kano bakakandika in 1923. So it was written by Roscoe. It's called the Bakitara. The Bakitara All Bunyoro by John Roscoe. Kano, this one has a lot of information in it. It's about how many pages? Let me check. It's quite a big volume. It's about 350 pages. So every vitabu minakobisoma tunokwegod or writu. We have to defend our culture. Otherwise, if we don't know our culture, we will be insignificant in the next generation. So,
amazing. Thank you so much, Akiiki Rwakasaija, Kugonza Rwakasaija, sorry, Kugonza Rwakasaija Akiiki, for that amazing talk you've given us today. Webale na muno kutugambira those books that we need to read to understand the culture of Bunyoro. Bunyoro is a great kingdom and was a great empire, and we must together fight to make it again a great empire. That's as it was before, and especially during the time of the great king Kabalega. Na nyenda muno kusima Akiiki. Webale again once again to accept to come on the Voice of Bunyoro in the Diaspora. Kuba hano obugambo obutusomeseza about naming, obagambira abantu bona where to go and read more categories and get to know how to name their children. Tureme kuha abana baitu amabara in the wrong way because we do not know what these names are. Webale muno, kandi webale muno kuhandike bintu ebyo mugende ha website ya Bunyoro Kitara US, musome those lists. Kandi naitwe abahanuki aba Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom Association BKDA UK, we will do our best to put this information on our website, and this information I think is also on the website of our empire Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom. Naho mugende yo musome ebintu binu mubyetegereze, and you get to know how to name your children properly. Titwija abokuba bwire butulabiroho Akiiki webale muno. I'm sure you will come back again, her Voice of Bunyoro in the Diaspora. Kubaza more about naming or probably something else. I am yet to talk to you about that. Ninyenda kuijukiza all our viewers that please tune in again next week. Same time, 6:30 p.m. UK time. Maybe in Uganda it will be 9:30. US it will be 1:30. Munganyire time zones ezinitinsmanyire, but those are the ones that we operate with. Please tune in again next week with yet another amazing guest that will be coming to talk more about the great Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom, and you get to know more on the Voice of Bunyoro in the Diaspora. Voice of Bunyoro in the Diaspora once again is sponsored by Bunyoro Kitara, supported by Bunyoro Kitara Development Association, Rise Up Community Inclusion. Kandi ninyenda kusima abo bona bali na nyowe today in the studio. Vice Chair of Bunyoro Kitara Development Association Omukuru Sam Kitone, webale muno the support. Thank you for being there every time. Omukuru JJ tiba mwenda eidakeri ediba amazing voice on the Voice of Bunyoro tukingura. Nawe ali with me today in the show in the studio. Webale muno Omukuru JJ atenyi kubo mu byoma. And now I am going to say to you all our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely week. Good night and stay safe. Bye. I'm going to leave you with an amazing song by Orunyege Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom. Enjoy the dance, and we'll see you again next week, same time. Mukama alinde and stay safe.
mwebale muno kuhuliriza eiraka lya Bunyoro okuruga mu Diaspora. Until next time, mwikale kurungi.